right, good morning, folks. Let me know if you can hear me because I am having audio issues coming out the gate hot. Today is Monday, April 18th. Welcome to First Things First, Simply Cyber's daily morning cybersecurity threat briefing. I'm your host, Gerald Auger, and over the next 30 minutes, I'll be delivering the top cybersecurity news of the day and providing expert analysis on each of these stories. What it means to you. Thank you, Carrie, for the heads up. What it means to you as a practitioner, or if you're looking to break into the industry, we got you covered. Shout out and thanks to this stream's sponsor, Barricade Cyber Solutions. Cyber criminals have stolen your data or your company's data and derailed your business operations. It's a terrible day if that's happening, people. Barricade Cyber Solutions will help you resolve this ransomware attack and, more importantly, get your business back on track. I want to remind you, if you hold professional certifications, First Things First is worth half a CPE per episode, so 2.5 a week, 10 a month. So make sure you're capturing your CPEs if you have certification. If you are live, I see you guys in chat. Love it. Thanks for being here. If you're on replay, looking at you, West Coast, thanks for catching the stream. I know it's hard to get here live all the time, and I appreciate you catching the replay. If you want to jump right to the news, when the ticker in the corner gets to 0, we will start the briefing. You can see it right there counting down. So feel free to just jump, grab that time bar, slide to the right until it gets to 0, and we can dive in that way. But for the next 2 minutes and 42 seconds, I'll be welcoming folks into the stream, those who are live with us right now. Good morning, Edwin. John, I saw you. Pamela, Carrie, thanks for the audio. Thumbs up. Brian P., good to see you. It was nice catching the BSEX performance the other night. Saw you in chat. Hey, Lupe, good to see you. Matthew, what's up? What's up? Richard B. Kid, I see you. 20 Abdul. Hey, Brendan. Got over the Friday hack off. Yes. Congrats on finishing the course. Definitely. Siva, good to see you. Hey, Joey Hyde. Pulled out the big cup of coffee today. This is how I roll on Mondays. Big, deep cup. Hey, Josh Mason, good to see you in chat. Ryan Spishak, always nice. Some good regulars setting the tone here. Kimberly, always representing. Hey, Flo, what's up? Moni, good morning to you too. Good morning, James from LinkedIn. It's nice to see you over there. Anna Lynn, as always. Stacy, how are you? How was the weekend? Weekend was pretty good. Mubaraz, thank you for asking. Family was out of town for a minute. They came back, spent some time, got kind of back into the flow of things. It was nice. Did a little yard work. You know how it is. Good to see you, Chase. Yeah, Carrie, use those GRC skills for good. I might have to order a second French press up in here. Guys, I put a little new banner here. I've got some new overlays. So instead of just instead of this screen, we're going to go with this screen. More of me with a big punch out. A little live stream schedule up in the corner there. Since I'm doing multiple streams now all week, it's not all about First Things First, although I love First Things First. It's about representing all the streams. Hey, Brendan, Jace, Cyber Gray Matter, what's up, everyone? You got it, buddy. Guys, we're going to be digging into these news stories. It's going to be good. Good way to start the week. What do we got? This week also, we've got a special, a special First Things for Simply Cyber Live. Rob Lee's coming on. Industrial Control System extraordinaire himself. Woo! Yeah, Miss Julian, finally warming up in Vermont. I bet. Elroy Jetson, thanks for the squad support. Hey, Professor Black Ops, always good. All right, guys, 4 seconds, 3. Let's call it. What's up, BSEC? Good set the other night. I saw that. Pull, root, repeat. Let's get into the top stories of the day. Guys, if you want, we're going to cisoseries.com, cisoseries.com. So if you want to get your own feeds, sans Simply Cyber, definitely consider checking them out. They do a fantastic job. Let's get into the stories.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
It's Monday, April 18th, 2022. Microsoft Office 2013 will reach end of support in April 2023. Microsoft is reminding customers that Office 2013 is approaching its end of support next year on April 11th, 2023. It advises customers to switch to a newer version to reduce their exposure to security risks. The end of life means no new security updates, and the continued use of Office 2013 after this time might increase an organization's exposure to security risks or impact their ability to meet compliance obligations. Also, connecting Office 2013 clients to Microsoft 365 might lead to performance or reliability issues. Stolen.
Yeah, okay. So, all right. Now, Office 2013 going end of life. This is the fat clients that sit on people's workstations. Yes, good job, Microsoft, for letting us all know way in advance that this thing's going end of life. You should be planning for software lifecycle management, deprecating this software. It should be incredibly easy to migrate off of Office 2013. You do have options. What I find hilarious is that Microsoft is like, oh, there are options here. Let me let you be aware of our Office options. You can, your available upgrade options are go to Office 365, or you can do the long-term support. Just, hey, FYI, the difference is that it says it in here. The main difference is that the Office 365 one gets updated regular with new features, not security updates, new features. And the fat clients are the same that you got in 2021. So if you want a crappier experience, then go ahead and use the fat clients. We'll make it available to you. But in reality, Microsoft is heavily, heavily invested in wanting to get you and your entire organization up in Office 365. They want vendor lock-in, and that's the deal. So I'm not surprised, right? Microsoft wants this. Having said that, I am a consumer of Office 365 product, and I find it fine. I find it does the job. So it's not a terrible thing, but just as an FYI, as you're thinking of budgets and stuff like that, here's something that if you're a junior analyst or new to the industry, you may not be aware of. But the way that budget cycles work, like you need budget to buy stuff, right? Like this Office 365 instance that runs these apps and stuff, it's not free. You need to pay for it, right? And you ask for money a year in advance, right? You don't just, it's not like your home budget where you're like, oh, I want to go out to dinner tonight because I don't feel like making dinner. Here's some money, go buy it. Like it's much more complex and complicated because the business is a living organism. So you have to put in, hey, we need $75,000 because Office 2013 is going end of life next year, and we're going to need Office applications, obviously. So budget cycles and stuff like that. So that's part of the reason why Microsoft is making this present now instead of like in March of 2023.
OAuth tokens used to download data from dozens of organizations, according to GitHub. Threat actors abused stolen OAuth user tokens issued to two third-party OAuth integrators, Heroku and Travis CI, to download data from dozens of organizations, including NPM. GitHub denies that the attacker obtained these tokens via a compromise of GitHub or its systems. The company explained that the stolen tokens used to access the repositories are not stored by GitHub in their original usable formats. The Microsoft-owned firm is still investigating the compromise and is notifying affected organizations.
All right. So, whatever. This is a little bit of a GitHub attack / stolen oath tokens, which are basically the tokens that when you authenticate to a service, like a cloud-based service, it's what comes back. Because you got to remember, HTML, like websites, they don't persist, right? They don't have a context of state. So you use tokens and cookies and session tokens and stuff like that in order to persist state and make that user experience more enjoyable. And oath tokens are like the authentication, like, yes, you have access. It's like authenticating at the front door of a business and then getting like an escort badge and being able to walk around with it. That's kind of what it is. And if you lost that badge, people would stop you and be like, what are you doing here? So the oath tokens, someone stole it. They were able to download data. Okay, so a couple things here. One, if you are putting data into cloud services, you have to be aware that you're taking additional risk by putting your data there. Okay, like obviously there's a business trade-off and that's why people do it, but there is a trade-off. Secondly, oath tokens, right? So they do get stolen. This is where you need, hold on, let me use my new punch in. Listen, with oath tokens, you need to, really with any system where you're having access controlled and moved around and stuff, you need logging and audit logs to be able to tell who's doing what, when, and how, and what are they authorized to do? What are they authenticating into? Are they downloading something? What are they downloading? How much data? How much telemetry can you pull from that system, right? So it's about protecting so the access is controlled. So if they do steal an oath token, they're only getting access to what that oath token has access to, not everything. And having the detection capabilities to be able to say, whoa. Why is Kimberly accessing this sensitive data set over here that A, Kimberly has no reason to access, and B, she's in Miami and it's 2 a.m. Like, what is she doing on a Saturday night at 2 a.m. accessing this, right? So like alarm bells going off, right? And this is the hallmark of a sound information security program. You don't try to put detection controls in after you've been compromised, right? That's what a lot of organizations do. But what you're supposed to do is put them in first, validate that they were, and then when they go off, have some type of response process in order to respond, right? Obviously. Okay. Good job, Kimberly.
Button in conferencing apps might not actually mute your mic.
Privacy.
A new study conducted by a team of researchers at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and the Loyola University in Chicago shows that pressing the mute button on popular video conferencing apps might not actually work the way you think it should, with apps still listening in on your microphone. More specifically, pressing mute does not prevent audio from being transmitted to the app's servers. The apps tested in this phase of the study included Zoom, Slack, Microsoft Teams and Skype, Google Meet, Cisco WebEx, GoToMeeting, Discord, and others. Zoom was found to actively track if the user is talking even when they were in mute mode. The worst case, according to the study, was Cisco WebEx, which continued to receive raw audio data from the user's microphone and transmitted it to the vendor's servers in precisely the same way it did when unmuted. Enemy bot.
Okay, so this is gross. First of all, like, good bit of a research problem to look into. So dude, it's 2022. We've been in COVID for 2 years. Zoom, teleconferencing, remote workforce. This technology has been front and center for 2 years. And as far as I know, no one has done this type of research. So good on them. It seems obvious once we say it out loud. Okay, second of all, gross. The fact that they are capturing data when someone thinks it's muted is gross, right? Obviously, when you mute it, you intentionally are under the assumption that your audio is no longer being transmitted, period. Not just to the people in the conference room, but in general, right? So that means not only is it capturing and sending it, but it's capturing all of your ambient sound, right? So like if you got WebEx, by the way, I hate WebEx, but that's a side thing. So you got WebEx open, right? And you're not in a conference call. Is it sending data then too? So like it's just literally an eavesdropping bug in your office. Think about all the stuff you say in your office, right? Proprietary stuff, personal stuff. This is a gross invasion of privacy, right? So I hope they're actually held accountable. I'd be curious, again, I'd be curious if the FTC got involved in this, but at the same time, like I'm sure their EULA that we all click through said like, oh no, we're totally going to just steal everything and you're going to be fine with it. Click here to agree. So, you know, I don't know what the circle versus the check mark. It says the circle's a web app, but I mean, is the circle mean a check mark also? I guess, I don't know. Basically, it looks like they all send data. Kind of, I don't know. This graphic right here doesn't do much for me, but anyways, just be aware. Someone is always listening, I guess is the key takeaway. You know, integrity is what you do when no one is watching, but it seems that, you know, big tech is always watching, always listening. So be mindful.
A new DDoS botnet appears on the threat landscape. Researchers from Fortinet discovered a new DDoS botnet tracked as enemy bot that has targeted several routers and web servers by exploiting known vulnerabilities. The botnet targets multiple architectures, including ARM, ARM, BSD, x64, and x86. The researchers attribute the botnet to the cybercrime group KEKSEC, Keksec, which focuses on DDoS-based extortion. Borrowing code in part from the infamous Mirai botnet, EnemyBot uses a list of hard-coded username-password combinations to log into devices in the attempt to access systems using weak or default credentials.
Okay. I'm just looking at this really quickly here. Okay. So I wouldn't. Okay. So here's my take on this one. Right. Just be aware that botnets are not new. Like building botnets is not new. EnemyBot, which whatever, clever name. First of all, it's leveraging Mirai botnet's source code heavily, especially in the way that it infects, right? Mirai was known to basically just have a hard-coded list of default username and passwords for IoT devices, and it would randomly generate an IP address and then try the 60 or whatever username and passwords, and if it hit, win, and if it didn't, it just moved on to another randomly generated IP address. EnemyBot is doing something similar. I might even go as far as to say, like, this is not a script kiddie, but it is close. First of all, they're leveraging an existing botnet distribution solution. Secondly, they're dropping a file in the temp directory of the machine, and the file name is pwned, and it attributes that that machine has been compromised by this threat actor group, right? Like threat actor groups, like you do it like that is basically like fingerprinting and putting your signature on something as I did this, which is not advanced, right? Like you typically don't want to attribute compromises to yourself, right? It's like the wet bandits from Home Alone, right? You're like literally laying fingerprints everywhere. So I wouldn't call that like a slick move. And they're just exploiting known web server vulnerabilities on known web servers. So it's not zero-day attack. It's none of that stuff. So just be aware. Patch your stuff. If you find a temp pwned file on your machine, you know that you've got an EnemyBot contributed or attributed compromise. Just clean the machine, and you're off and running. Keep your stuff patched. That's it.
And now, IRO.com. Cisco vulnerability lets hackers craft their own login credentials. Cisco has released a security advisory to warn about a critical vulnerability with a CVSS score of 10.0.
That's the highest.
CVE 2022-20695, impacting the wireless LAN controller WLC software. The security flaw allows remote attackers to log into target devices through the management interface without using a valid password. The bug involves the improper implementation of the password validation algorithm, making it possible to bypass the standard authentication procedure on non-default device configurations. According to Cisco's advisory, the products affected by this flaw are those that run Cisco WLC software 8.10.151.0 or 8.10.162.0 and have MAC filter radius compatibility configured as Other.
All right. This one is simple and straightforward. If you are running Cisco's wireless LAN controller, this version, this is a priority. This is fix it today. You can basically log into this thing with no credentials, which means once you're in, you can bring it down, you can misconfigure it, you can do all sorts of stuff. The impact could be it brings all wireless down. Right now, they gave it a 10.0, but it really is dependent on how your organization is leveraging wireless. Let's say you're like the hospital of the future and everything is wireless, IoT, right? This could be devastating. Now, let's say that you're a manufacturing plant that everything's hardwired and you have wireless for your VIP guests that come in to tour the plant. Not really a big deal, right? Now, you might be able to get in here and move laterally. I'm not 100% sure, but you don't want someone to be able to just log in to your wireless LAN controller and muck around with it. So in conclusion, if you're running this version, this is a priority. Tell your IT people, send this link to them, whatever you got to do. This is not, this is really, really bad. I'm glad that someone discovered this so it could get fixed.
Group behind Axie Infinity crypto hack. The U.S. Treasury Department has implicated the North Korea-backed Lazarus Group in the theft of $540 million from video game Axie Infinity's Ronin network that we reported on last month. On Thursday, the Treasury tied the Ethereum wallet address that received the stolen funds to the threat actor and then sanctioned the funds by adding the address to the Office of Foreign Assets Control's specially designated nationals list. The cryptocurrency heist, the second largest cyber-enabled theft to date, involved the siphoning of 173,600 Ether and 25.5 million USD coins from the Ronin cross-chain bridge, which allows users to transfer their digital assets from one crypto network to another. The attacker used hacked private keys in order to forge fake withdrawals, the Ronin network explained in its disclosure report a week later after the incident came to light.
Okay. So basically, we talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago, right? That video game / cryptocurrency exchange thing, Axie Infinity got hacked for 540. It was reported up to $600 million. We also reported that the group behind it was going to refund the victims of that, which we were talking about, like, Jesus, like if they have $600 million to refund people, how much money must this thing be making to be able to do that? Okay, so now it comes out that Lazarus Group is behind this. If you guys don't know who Lazarus Group is literally the North Korean. So North Korea has a couple, like 3 that I'm aware of, APT groups. One is for spying on its own citizens. One is for foreign affairs, and then one is for generating revenue for the country. Since this is like one of their gross domestic products is like financial cybercrime. Lazarus Group is famously known for the Bank of Bangladesh hack, where they tried to steal $1 billion, right? $1 billion. Go check out the Darknet Diary story on that one. It's fantastic. But anyways, so this is $540 million, Lazarus Group. Not surprising. Okay. It was a bit more of a sophisticated attack. And so it says the U.S. has sanctioned the wallets that were used in this attack, which basically means that no United States associated entity, whether it's a person or a business or anything, can transact with that wallet, which basically helps nerf the ability for North Korea to do anything with that money, right? $540 million in Ethereum sounds great, but you can't buy food with Ethereum. You can't buy rockets and military capability with Ethereum. So you need to cash that out and turn it into a currency that can be leveraged. So this is to help do that. Now, again, crypto is decentralized, people. So just because the US sanctions it doesn't mean that they can't do business with, China or any European country, right? And I don't know if it gets into NATO, where like you can't, like the sanctions the US puts on it extends to other countries. But yes, the sanctions put on by the US does hurt, but it doesn't stop anything. It just slows it down. So anyways, Lazarus Group, if you hear big ticket dollar item cyber crimes, there's a good chance it's Lazarus Group.
Spyware attack targets top EU legal officials' phones. The NSO spyware story continues, with reports from Reuters that the phones of at least 5 EU officials were hacked with invasive malware between February and September of 2021. One of the targeted officials was the EU's European Justice Commissioner, who holds a position equivalent to the Attorney General in the United States. At least 4 other members of the Justice and Consumers Commission were also spied on, the outlet says. NSO has denied that it has any involvement in this case, telling Reuters that the hacking of the EU officials, quote, could not have happened with NSO's tools, end quote. Several vulnerable...
All right. So, whatever. So we talked about NSO Group, Pegasus Software. NSO Group is claiming that this attack is not related to them. Whether or not that's true is unknown. You know how businesses say what businesses want to say. But just know that at the highest levels of espionage, hacking iPhones, hacking hacking mobile devices is what happens. Now, it says in the story, it's not clear why these particular individuals were being targeted. If they were they were targeted, so there obviously was a good reason. You don't burn an advanced capability this just for lulls, right? Like there definitely was a reason. But this is one of the reasons, if you've ever worked in a cleared space, you're not allowed to take mobile phones into a skiff. This is part of the reason, right? So it helps limit that risk. Not much to say here, I guess. If you work at an organization that has VIPs, like, people who deal with nation state threat actors, people that deal with investigative journalism, maybe you have like a 4-star general at your business or something like that, this could be relevant, but to me, this is just interesting in the cybersecurity ecosystem, just to know that these capabilities are out there and people are using them. But I'm not worried about this for my end users in my environment. It's way too expensive and sophisticated in a tech to frankly burn on a general user. You know what I mean?
Abilities allow disabling of Palo Alto Networks products. Palo Alto Networks has informed customers about several vulnerabilities that could allow a malicious actor to disable its product. This, according to security researcher Mr. Dox, who informed the company that its Cortex XDR agent can be bypassed by an attacker with elevated privileges by modifying a registry key, leaving the endpoint exposed to attacks. The product's anti-tampering feature is unable to prevent the use of this method. Mr. Dox also discovered that there is a default uninstalled password that, if it has not been changed by the admin, can also use to disable the XDR agent. Several cybersecurity vendors have been assessing the impact of this flaw on their products.
Okay. Couple things. One, I've heard of Mr. Dox. I can't remember what Mr. Dox did recently, but I feel like Mr. Dox is a recognized security researcher. I'd have to Google it. I assume he, because of Mr. as the surname, has done something recently. But this is interesting. Two things. One, Cortex XDR agent can be bypassed two different ways. One, by making a registry key change, and one by using a default uninstall password that doesn't get changed. So that's pretty good finding. He found it in summer of 2021, so almost a year ago. This is what I like. He did it, but he gave Palo Alto enough time to correct it, right? So even though this is out right now, like this salacious news on April 14th, 2022, Palo Alto's had a year of awareness in time. So you would think that things would be corrected already. A registry key change and an uninstall password. I don't know. If you are using the Cortex XDR agent, like that's the only reason to dig into this story and make sure that your environment is clear. I will say that a lot of these vendors right now, if you don't know this, a lot of the vendors right now, they're bundling their solutions together, right? So you see Cisco acquiring a bunch of things like Duo and AMP endpoint and stuff like that. Like the bigger vendors, including Palo Alto, are starting to offer a complete solution, right? A complete security stack, because just like Office 365 and how I complain about that, they want you to get locked in to their solution, right? So they'll give you, hey, you want to buy some PAs? We'll throw in Wildfire and we'll throw in Cortex XDR for a year. The idea is that you get it integrated into your environment, and then it's very difficult to remove it from your environment, so you end up paying in the next fiscal year for that solution. So having said all that, if you have Cortex XDR and you know about it, make sure that you get this addressed, including testing it in your environment to prove that, in fact, it cannot be compromised in this capacity, and then patch as needed, et cetera, et cetera. So that's another fun piece of information. All right, hold on. Let me fix my audio. So that's another fun piece of information. When you apply a patch, especially something like this that can be, seriously lead to a compromise, not just patch it, but verify that the patch in fact worked. Verify that the vulnerability can no longer be exploited, right? A lot of people miss that part. They just fix the problem and move on to the next job. And you need to be cognizant that, yes, we've in fact addressed the issue. All right. There we go. Yeah. DJ Shadow. Okay, listen, that's going to do it for today, Monday, April 18th. First things first, we are right on time at 8:30. Want to remind everybody that this Thursday we have Rob Lee of Dragos. You may have heard of him. If you haven't, please come check it out because he is pretty much the leader in the industrial control system security space. So come check that out. Definitely going to be a good talk. And then obviously, you're on First Things First. I see you guys sharing it with your community. I appreciate that. Share it on the socials. I've added a couple new little overlays. I changed the URL to simplycyber.io/streams because of all the different streams that I'm running now with, Monday through Friday. I put 8 a.m. This week is the last week of me teaching for the spring semester. So it'll be 8 a.m. Monday through Friday starting next week for the summer. Okay. So hopefully that works for everybody. Dragos. All right. I've been saying Dragos like it's a dragon from Game of Thrones forever. So thanks, Josh Mason, for correcting me so I didn't embarrass myself to Rob Lee when I introduced him from Dragos. And he's like, bro, do your research, son. Okay. So that's going to do it for First Things First, y'all. Have a great day. We will talk tomorrow at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. tomorrow for First Things First. Be sure to share on your socials. Hit the thumbs up on your way out. Let's see if it does anything for the algorithm. I don't know. Y'all be good. We will talk tomorrow at 10 a.m. Cheers.